people come from all walks of life. They all have lives they lead. Any and all are welcome here to come and chat with me.
Hi, everyone. For those of you who don't know, I'm a late bloomer. I mean, late bloomer, but I'm not the only one. Today's guest, for instance, considers herself a late bloomer. Time to find out more. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest today is Carolyn Harley. So welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you for inviting me.
So what did you start later on in your life?
Well, I have been a songwriter since I was a young mother. And I was a preschool teacher for my career.
Okay.
And during that time, I dabbled in music. And then as I was getting closer to retirement, I started spending more time on my music and less time on teaching preschool. I kept reducing my number of classes and doing more music. So it's my music foremost that I consider myself a late bloomer, because once I retired, then I put all my time and energy into the writing, and I recorded for the first time and released albums for the first time. And so I'm having a lot of fun. And you can see behind me, it says it's never too late to bloom. So that's my philosophy of life.
Very good. Well, let's get back into your, delve into your music career a little bit then. What are some of the songs that you've written and performed and published or had, whatever you call it, aired?
Yeah, aired. Well, I'll tell you one that's, a couple of songs I'll be singing this week. Here in Calgary, we have the Monument to the Famous Five. And these are 5 women who fought for changing the definition of the word person to include women. Because back at the turn of the last century, that word only referred to men. And so they won the person's case. And the anniversary of that is October 18 and 1929. So that's, and I just happened to put my CDs right here. So
awesome.
I have a CD, and it's called The Famous Five, Their Story Told in Song. And for like almost 25 years now, I've been singing about these 5 women. And I like to say that I write songs that matter. So I like to write historical and songs that encourage and perhaps even inspire people.
Very good. So where are you going to be performing that?
At Olympic Plaza.
Okay.
Where the monument is in downtown Calgary.
All right.
And, so we're actually celebrating voting and the right to vote and the value of voting, and especially women. So to this event, we've invited a lot of the candidates that are running for a councillor and mayor here in Calgary. We normally would have the event on the 18th, but that's our election day here in Calgary.
Okay.
So we're having it on the 15th. And it's to celebrate the right that we have to vote, and that women are persons, and that we can be in the Senate and do all kinds of business, transactions that women back in the day could not do because they weren't persons.
Right. It's unbelievable when you think about it, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Certainly something to celebrate. Now you talked about first composition was a blues song written while you were scrubbing the kitchen floor.
No, I know. Yeah, isn't that appropriate?
Yeah.
And it was actually before I had written poetry and short stories, and it was before I could even play an instrument. And I just started singing, as I was, back in the day. I don't know why, maybe they hadn't invented long-handled, devices for washing your floor, but I was literally down on my knees scrubbing the floor.
Right.
And the song just came to me, well, you said that you'd be home by 10. I thought the loving would be starting then, but the hours have crept on by. I guess there's nothing left to do but cry. I got the waiting for the morning blues. That's what that.
That's awesome. I love that. Now you joined something. What was it? A songwriters group that would call themselves the Maple Ridge Songwriters Cooperative.
Yeah, so that's when we lived in BC and when I
Okay.
first started writing.
Mhm.
And so that was a wonderful group. I really believe as a creative person that the more time I spend with other creative people,
Right.
that the more I will be inspired to keep on working on my music. And so the last project that I did with that group was in 86, and it was, we got to sing at Expo 86
Oh,
to represent the province of British Columbia.
how
And then
exciting was
we
that?
moved to Calgary that year, and so
Mhm.
we've been in Calgary ever since.
So do you sing mainly blues
No,
or country?
this is my philosophy as a songwriter. When I get an idea for a song, then I just think, well, what would be the best style to tell that story?
Ah,
So I write all across the map. I write blues, country, classic country, like rockabilly. I write folk. My last album, I'll just show you, that's called Heartbeat of the World. And it was just nominated for folk recording of the year here in Calgary for our YYC Music Awards.
right.
And this album, as a late bloomer, I've just released this to Europe. First time I've ever done anything like that. And I'm getting airplay on the BBC in Europe and in Scotland and Ireland and Wales. And so it's such an adventure to
Mhm.
be doing this at this point in my life. I've never done anything like this before. Using social media,
Yeah.
learning how to do social media.
Right. How very exciting.
It is. It's very exciting.
I mean, it's kind of interesting, for some of us as we start things when we're older, it's giving ourselves a certain freedom to just go with things that we might not have done before, right?
Exactly.
Like I know that you started busking later on in life.
I know. That is such fun. I call myself the Grandma Busker.
So
And
what kind
we
of
have a wonderful platform here in Calgary. It's called Stagehand. And
okay.
it's an online platform where the artist goes in and sets up a profile, and clubs and venues and event planners have platforms, and it's the way to interact. And so that's where I discovered that I could get hired to go busking. So I get paid to go busking plus whatever I make in tips. And I love it. I love the interaction with children and seniors and street people and business people. And I just love it. I did not know I would enjoy busking so much.
So you're getting you're well received doing that, right? You're getting a great reaction.
I do. Yeah.
So do people, like when you finish song, do they have a chance to ask you questions? Do you do any of that?
I do that kind of interacting, because I often talk about the fact that I'm a songwriter and the songs that I'm doing while I'm busking are my own.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do that. And the other thing that I learned how to do was I learned how to make a QR code, which is that box, with all the little, it looks like a maze almost. Well, I made one and I put it on my little pull cart that I use for busking, and people can use their phone to leave me a tip.
Oh, what a clever idea.
Invariably people would walk by and they'd wave to me and they'd kind of pat their pocket and go like this, like
Yeah.
it had no change. So anyways, that was, as a late bloomer, that was another thing I had to learn, was how to make a QR code.
Now I know you play the guitar, right?
Play the guitar. As a late bloomer, I'm wearing this theme out here, but during the pandemic, when there was no more opportunity to perform live,
Mm-hmm.
I started learning how to play the mandolin.
Oh, okay.
So now I can say I play the guitar and I sort of play the mandolin. But of course, as soon as I got a few chords figured out as a songwriter, I started writing songs on the mandolin. And actually a couple of the tunes on my Heartbeat of the World were written on the mandolin, which was kind of fun.
Yeah, it is fun. I'm hearing more and more about, people now picking up the mandolin or the ukulele, like
Yes.
it's almost becoming more popular, it seems.
It definitely is. And I think, as horrible as the whole pandemic situation has been, in a lot of cases, it's made people slow down.
Yeah.
And you have less opportunities to be going out and that kind of thing. So I think a lot of people have been looking to, you hear about people learning how to bake bread and how to knit and how to play instruments and even just going outside more and walking. In my neighborhood in Calgary, I see a lot more people out walking and biking, and
Right.
so hopefully some of these positive things will stay with us.
Yes, hopefully. A lot of refocusing and right, changing what we used to do or rethinking, perhaps, right? Okay, if somebody wanted to buy your albums, how would they do that?
Well, I have a website, and it's carolynharley.com.
Nice and simple.
Nice and simple. And there you can download my new album and single songs. So the main song on Heartbeat of the World is it's a call to action song. It's about if we all work together and we can make a difference in the world. And I'm very excited that the UN conference on climate change is being held this month in Glasgow, Scotland. And the fellow that I'm working with in Europe has put together a compilation album of songs of support for our world.
Right.
And he has titled that compilation album, Looking for the Heartbeat of the World, which is the title of my album. And my song is the first song on that compilation. So you just never know when you start out doing something where it can take you.
Yes.
And I say, as long as I'm having fun in the interim, it's all good.
I agree with you wholeheartedly there. Now you talked about Roots Electric, was produced by Calgary's award-winning producer, performer, Tim Williams.
Tim Williams. Yeah.
Tell me about that experience.
He's an amazing man. And he actually went down to a blues festival in the United States in Memphis, and he won International Blues Performer and Instrumentalist. Wow. So this was one of the brave things that I had to do. I contacted him and said, I've never done this before, but I would like to, and this is the album. It's called Roots Eclectic.
Okay.
And I just said, I would like to go into the studio and record my songs, just take them to that next level. And he said, send me some of your work. I'll have a listen. And if I feel that there's something there that I would like to work on, I'll get back to you. And so I waited and waited, and he got back to me and he said, yeah, I like your work. I like your work. So we did this album, and some just amazing studio musicians, and such a sense of wonder. When you take what you've got in your head is your vocal and your guitar, and you add in all these different elements of guitar and bass and harmonies, and it's a wonderful experience for sure.
Right. Yeah. Now you talked about something, the Purple Aster Concert and Silent Auction fundraiser.
Yes. Well, this is where it's never too late to bloom. And the purple aster is a flower that blooms late in the garden or in nature. If you're a gardener or if you like to hike,
right,
you know that it was late in August, you start to see the purple flowers, and those are the asters blooming late. So we had a wonderful run with a fundraiser where everybody came dressed in purple. Right. It was a chance to be a little bit eccentric. And we had a silent auction, and we always had a concert. And so I would invite really top-notch musicians to come and perform. And it was a wonderful experience. And it was in celebration of late bloomers.
Right, very good. And you also created a fundraising events for the Calgary Drop-In Center and the Heart and Stroke Foundation?
Yeah, well, those were just one-offs. Those were just one-offs. But like I
Okay.
said, I like to take my music. I've volunteered many years myself and my band for fundraisers for the Christmas food bank concerts that we would have here, which we haven't had. We didn't have it last year, and looks like maybe we won't have them this year. But it's nice to be able to take a creative endeavor and pay it forward. You know, help out the community in some way.
Yes.
Yeah.
What did you do with your first old age security check when you turned 65?
Yeah, you did. You have paid attention, haven't you? Where did I put it? It's over there. I ordered a cherry red camera, a Nikon D3300.
Right.
And for the first, I don't say 3 or 4 years, I only used it on JPEG and automatic. And then slowly I have learned how to shoot in RAW and how to do manual.
Okay.
So that I can, in a situation, be able to capture any image,
Awesome.
depending on the light or whatever. And so,
Right.
I am loving photography.
Very nice.
I'm a long time bird watcher. So I started like 25 or more years ago bird watching. So now I'm loving the opportunity to try to capture in an image the birds that I've been watching and loving.
Very nice. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, just now let's just recap. You're performing on the 15th at what was the location again?
At the Olympic Plaza. Now this is just going to be an in-person event. So it's, but if there's anybody listening from the Calgary area, it's an hour at the monument to the famous five in the Olympic Plaza at noon. Yeah.
Right. And if anybody wants to buy any of your albums, and hopefully they do, just go to carolynharley.com.
Yeah, carolynharley.com.
Okay.
And also any shows that I have upcoming are listed on my website. So
Great.
I'm really excited that I've been invited to open for our largest folk club, which is the Calgary Folk Club.
Nice.
In January. And I'm opening for this amazing young man, Scott Cook. He has just been nominated for the Canadian Folk Songwriter of the Year. And so I get to share the stage with him.
Nice. Yeah, that's wonderful.
I know. So it's, yeah. So I love to say to people, you know, if you've got a passion or a dream or something that you love, just do it. Just do it. You know, William Shatner just went up into space at 90. He is actually one of my role models.
Very good.
One of the things William Shatner said that I remember is they said, how do you end up with such a varied, portfolio, all the things you've done? He said, my philosophy is, if the opportunity presents itself and I'm asked, I say yes.
Absolutely.
You know? Yeah. And so I'm trying to do that myself, is just say yes.
Absolutely. I'm like that, except that I have social anxiety, but I want to say yes to everything, you know. But anyway, we're out of time. So just stay there for a second. And yes, everybody, I really hope you enjoyed learning more about Carolyn Harley, and check out, I'm going to include her website so you can check out her songs and the events. We do have some viewers in Calgary, so hopefully you'll get a chance to hear her perform live. And until then, everyone, be safe and peace out.
A sense of community, till the wax a place to be. A sense of community when you're free. Rolling through the mountains, rolling through the valley, rolling through paradise with me. It's multicultural, you're sure to see it all. Chilliwack's the place to be, you'll see. Come party in the park, go dancing after dark. Chilliwack's the place to be, you'll see.